wow. Okay. Wow, that's actually a very pretty start. I mean, oh my God, Molly, that's actually really, really, really cool. Oh my gosh, that's actually kind of. Oh my. Okay, wait, no. Okay, wait. I gotta come on just to say that, Molly. That's really cool. Oh no, how do I? Wait, where's the transition button? There it is. There it is. Hello, everyone. First off, I got new glasses. Look at that. Look at these. But I want to quick say, Molly Manning, you have a job interview tomorrow. That's amazing. That's awesome. That sounds really cool. Working at the cinema where they do all the British red carpet premieres. That's super cool. I think I've been to that cinema once when I lived in London. That's awesome. That's like insanely cool. But anyways, regardless, hello everybody. Yes, I have new glasses. If you want to see them, they're still blue. They're actually very, very comfy, and I got a prescription upgrade because my prescription was a little bit lazy. It wasn't as good. So I was like, I'm wearing these now, and I'm like, oh, all of this is supposed to be this sharp, and like I didn't realize how sharp things were supposed to look, which is always a fun feeling. So I got new glasses. I think they're very pretty. They're actually like a even more brighter blue that matches the Star Trek earring that I usually wear that I really love. So it's a lot less subtle, but you know, subtlety is not my game. So I think it's good. Yeah, I think it's really, really cool. But I also should say, how is everyone doing today? Let me say hi to everybody. Super Femi, good to see you. Admiral Paco, Catherine and Beth, good to see you. Monster Ball, that other Ted. Phoenix, Sean Piper, Anti-K 808, Ash the Introvert, Clarissa Navarro, Cappuccino Crafts, Lyra, Phoenix, Kay Walton, Miss Beckett LA, Homebody. I'm sure I'm missing Corey. Good to see you. And thank you very much, Corey. I appreciate that. You were lovely. That's super nice. Yeah, so thank you everybody for being here. I hope you all are doing wonderful. A couple quick announcements just to let everyone know what this is for new folks who may be coming in. What this is my weekly, why am I blanking on words? My weekly chat stream where every week I sit down and talk about whatever you all want to talk about. So you get to dictate the conversation. You give me subjects or things you want me to rant about for a while. I answer questions, things like that. If you have super chats, I give you hearts for super chats and also obviously answer your question and give it a little bit of focus. But if there's no super chats, that's okay. I'll answer questions from the chat, but super chats do help pay the bills and they are very much appreciated. Beyond that, one quick announcement. Well, I know I said I was only going to be doing two videos a month now, or well, every video every other week is actually more the case. There is actually going to be a video tomorrow because I felt a need to talk about the fallout from Dave Chappelle's special. I did an initial video about Dave Chappelle's special, and I'm going to be doing another video on Dave Chappelle's special because I feel like there's a lot of stuff that has happened afterwards that I think requires another nuanced conversation to be had. So there is going to be another video coming out tomorrow. Well, depending on, I literally just finished filming it right before I came on stream, which is why my voice may sound a little bit cracky because I've been filming for about an hour or so. Which is also why I have tea here, by the way. So it'll either be going out tomorrow or Saturday. It depends on how long or how much time I want to devote to editing tonight. So if I feel like editing it tonight, then I'll get it out tonight, or I'll get it out tomorrow. If it takes a little bit longer, it'll go out Saturday morning. So either tomorrow or Saturday morning, there'll be another video about Dave Chappelle's special, just because I think there's another nuanced conversation to be had there. With that said, that means I don't want to talk about the Dave Chappelle special today because I've been talking about it. I've been thinking about it for the past week and change and all that stuff. So if you have questions about the Dave special, wait until next week see if I answer it in my video, and then if you have more questions for me to ask about that, let me know. So that's basically all the announcements for now. And also I'll mention I'm going to be playing some video games on Saturday night, my drunk stream. I'm going to be playing Guardians of the Galaxy on Saturday, which I'm very excited about. So we'll have fun doing that, the new Guardians of the Galaxy game, and I'll get drunk playing Star-Lord, which I'm actually very pumped about, to be honest with you. This might be the most excited I've been to play a game on a stream, to be honest. So with all that said, I am going to now focus on all of you, and I just wanted to get that all out. So there we go. Yeah, and I see two super chats already, but I also saw something really quickly that I didn't see. Molly says, crappy news, saw there was a new comedy with Christopher Walken and written and directed by Stephen Merchant. It was interesting, but 10 minutes in, there was a effing trans joke, FFS. Yeah, that sucks. It sucks, especially if it's a new like, I can slightly forgive older stuff, Molly, for trans jokes because there wasn't a lot of understanding and like stuff like that. Like, and especially if like the creators have gotten better about trans jokes. Like, I feel like what do you call it? The Venture Brothers. I love the Venture Brothers TV show. I think that comedy is hilarious. And there is a lot of like awkward gender jokes towards the beginning of the series, but they get better over time because I feel like the creators learn more over time. So I'm willing to be forgiving of that stuff. But someone like Stephen Merchant, who I love, by the way, I love Stephen Merchant. I think he's a great comedian. I first encountered him in Portal 2 and I freaking love him there, but obviously he's great elsewhere. It is sad to see that in more modern stuff. Anyways, let's get to the super chats and let me give you hearts and love to the folks who have helped me out there. Punk Rock Zoologist, you are lovely, sending you love. Huge storms here last... My voice started getting weird. Sorry, I need some tea. One sec. Okay. Huge storms here last night with high winds. Trees down and our power's been out since 7 p.m. last night and won't be back on until at least 3 p.m. today. Oh, God, that sucks. Especially if you're like in the middle of a storm, that's like even the worst. I remember I lived in Los Angeles, Punk Rock Zoologist, 2 years. I mean, you know this, 2 years ago, or a year ago, I guess, and about a year and a change ago, last summer. Let me just say it that way. We had a 100-degree heat day, and the power went out, and I had no air conditioning for that day, and it was hell. It was legitimate hell, and I'm certain some people probably died as a result of it. I didn't. I just had a really, really crappy day. But even more dangerous than something like a storm with high winds. I mean, there's been high winds here on the... I mean, Seattle hasn't been too bad. It's definitely been higher winds and some rain, but it's not been horrible. But I've heard places like in California and San Francisco have been really hit hard with winds and rain, which, to be fair, California needed the rain, so at least there's some benefit, but it's not great. Not great. Corey, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. Said, Jessie, Vale wants you to know they love the new glasses. They went wild-eyed and smiled. Oh, yay! Thank you very much, Vale. Mwah. I love these glasses. Like, look at them. They're so cute and adorable, and they're blue on my face. I don't have my old ones in the other room. Otherwise, I do like a little swap comparison. But I think these are cute. I am very pleased with the new glasses. Also, by the way, I should also mention I got a new desk. My old desk kind of fell apart. Like, there's even pieces of it still here because I have parts of the old desk. Like, my old desk kind of fell apart, so I had to get a new desk. So I got a little corner desk here. Hence why you can see like the desk there. So it's a nice little desk. I think it's nice. It was actually less expensive than my old desk. This was only like, I think like $80. So I was rather pleased for how cheap it was. Let's see. Catching up. Heart to you, D. Duval. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, watching Rocky Horror by myself right now, but I'm going to see if I can catch the Shadowcast at Music Box in Chicago this weekend. Who wants to join? Oh, that'd be awesome. I mean, I'm not in Chicago, but if anyone else wants to join, please feel free to join. Just make sure to be safe and all that stuff. And all the sense of that. So, yeah, so for sure. That sounds awesome. But yeah, Rocky Horror is great. I love Rocky Horror. Especially the original. Like, that's a piece of problematic... We're talking about problematic media, right? Like, Rocky Horror is, like, all sorts of problematic in so many ways. Like, the way they treat women and talk about women, and the transsexual transvestite from Transylvania is certainly, like... In other contexts, like, it's not great. Like, if that was made today, I would be like, eh. But, and I know there's, like, a Laverne Cox remake, which was also awesome. But, it's one of those things that's like, but we still love problematic media. We love, I love Rocky Horror. I mean, and there's certainly, criticisms like waste against it, but I love that show. It's freaking great. And I just drank the tea tag. So that was a thing that happened right there. Catherine Lambeth, sweet new heart to you. Thank you so much. Sweet new glasses. You look so artsy. I look artsy. Do I look... I feel like with the tapered ends on this thing, I feel like I'm just leaning more into my, like, professor persona. Like, I feel like I look like this lesbian outfit, this lesbian plaid, notwithstanding, I should say. I feel like I'm, like, if I put these on and, like, put on, like, a teacher outfit, like, I've just gone full teacher. Like, I've just gone full, I'm the cool English teacher that you want to hang out at, but you're just like, school is stupid, but Mrs. Gender is kind of cool. So I'll hang out in her room after school. She teaches like English, but she's not so like meh about it. That's kind of the vibe that I'm going for. I want to be like the cool English teacher. That's like, yeah, kids, I get you. I understand you. I understand you deep in your soul. I'm just as discontented as all the rest of you. Oh yeah, Tim Curry does look amazing in drag. Louis Man Gaming. Let's. Yes, Ash. Redraw me. Redraw me. Yes, I love drawings. Oh no! Did the stream go down? Okay. Stream looked like it went down for a second, so apologies if I... Yep, there we go. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, sorry, the stream went down for a hot second. I just was checking to make sure it's still good. So it looks like we're still good. Cool. Anyways, Yannette West, thank you so much for the super chat. Heart to you. You didn't say anything, but I'm just sending you love, Yannette. You were lovely. Mwah. Thank you so much. Make sure I didn't miss a new super chat real quick. Oh, thank you, Killsandry. I appreciate that. I do appreciate they make my eyes pop. I like that. I think it looks really good. It frames my eyes really nicely, which I really appreciate. Heart to you, Monster Ball 21. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, what about Strange New Worlds are you most excited about, or what lore or story are you hoping they'll include? P.S. Love the new glasses, girl. They pop. Thank you very much, Monster Ball. So Strange New Worlds, for those of you who don't know, Strange New Worlds is the upcoming Captain Pike show featuring Captain Pike, number one Una, Spock, with Ethan Peck Spock. To pick one thing, if I may be so allowed to gush a little bit, I am so excited for that show on so many levels, for so many reasons. Like, number one, Anson Mount's Pike is like the amazing. Like, I'm not even kidding when I say Anson Mount's Pike might be one of my favorite captains of all time. I mean, I love my Picards, I love my Ciscos, I love my Janeways, my Archers, my Kirks. Kirk's a little less, but, well, actually, no, I like Kirk. I like Kirk as he's portrayed in, like, the show. I like Kirk. I don't like William Shatner as much, but I like Kirk. But I love all those captains, right? But Anson Mount's Pike has just this, like, perfect energy that I just absolutely adore, where he just has charisma, he's funny, he's kind, and yet he just also exudes leadership, but not in a leadership way that's like, I'm gonna put you down. I've done so many videos on his leadership style already. He just does that, and Anson Mount is just so perfect. Also, he's very attractive. There's that. In fact, everyone in that cast looks freaking attractive, and I'm gonna be in pain the whole show. But especially Ethan Peck, and also all of them, just all of them. Anyways, I might have a moment here. But yeah, I love Ethan Peck's Pike. But also, I think I want to learn more about Una. Like, the little bits we saw of Una in number one, for those of you who don't know. Little bits we saw of Una in Discovery, and what I know from her in beta canon and stuff like that. I think she is going to be so great to do, because I think she's such a strong character. Ever since her first appearance way back in the very first episode of Star Trek, The Cage, she is just such a strong character that I just want to know more about, and I'm excited to see that. Ethan Peck's Spock, like, I think Ethan Peck just so nails Spock, and while I'm sad he doesn't have the beard that he had in Discovery anymore, which is just significantly makes me upset, I think he is going to be amazing. Also, we're going to have Uhura in the show. Like, Uhura, we're going to get to know more about Uhura, which is amazing, because Nichelle Nichols' Uhura, absolutely iconic. She is fantastic, and by no means I wish to diminish the absolute freaking amazing work that Nichelle Nichols did as Uhura, both on screen and behind the scenes. If you listen to, like, stuff that she did behind the scenes, she's wonderful. I by no means wish to diminish that, but Uhura, the character, was never fully fleshed out and never given the attention that she deserves. I mean, hell, the girl was technically, what, like, third in command? Yeah, she was fourth in command of the Enterprise. It was Kirk, Spock, Scotty, and then Uhura, but she only got to take command of the bridge once in the animated series. So I'm just excited to see more about Uhura. But then this is one last thing. Sorry, you got me ranting about this. My last nerdy thing to rant about Strange New Worlds is there is an Andorian character on the show who looks to be an Anar, with Anar being the offshoot of Andorians who are blind, which, number one, having a blind actor play the character is absolutely fantastic. Blind and also, like, pale looking Andorians that were introduced in Star Trek Enterprise. So they have a character, not only played like a disabled character played by a disabled actor, but also is like a deep cut canon Star Trek Enterprise reference. How could I not be so excited for that? How could I not be so pumped? Anyways, I've ranted enough about it, but I am so pumped for Strange New Worlds for all of those reasons. If I had to pick one, it would be the hope that I get to see Ethan Peck's beard again. I live for that hope. If I hope for anything in our future, it's more Ethan Peck's beard. That's all I want from life. That's all I want for life. Okay. So I've ranted enough about that. Thank you for letting me a chance to do that, Monster Ball. Carla, heart to you. Thank you so much. Carla, hi Jessie, how have you been? I loved your Dave Chappelle video. You always have such a measured, nuanced, and empathetic approach. Oh, thank you so much, Carla. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I was very pleased that people seem to take that video well. I have been good. I've been a little bit overworked the past few days for a couple different reasons that I'll reveal eventually soon. You'll eventually get to see some of the stuff I've been working on soon, but I've been a little bit overworked in my life just recently for a myriad of different reasons. And I'll be honest, I'm not going to talk about it too much here. I talk about it in the video that I'll be posting up tomorrow about the special. I did get a significant amount of transphobic backlash for that special, not because I did anything wrong necessarily. It was just like there were groups that started to target me and harass me because they do that to every trans person online, because that's what trans people face online. And I will say it didn't necessarily, like, I'm somewhat a nerd to it, but it was kind of like kind of more frustrating. And so that was kind of like a little bit of like a frustration point these past few days. So between just being a little bit overworked and that was kind of unfortunate. But that being said, this past weekend was really, really wonderful. I got asked to be on a panel on Lumi Rue's Twitch channel. If you didn't see it, Lumi Rue just posted the YouTube video of a panel I was on talking about the Dave special, which was really wonderful. But then Bad Bunny, if you don't know, Bad Bunny is a leftist Twitch YouTuber, or leftist Twitch streamer, who, you know, she's much more abrasive than my style. I tend to be very nice, but she's a much more abrasive creator. But she thinks she's actually very wonderful. I think she's a very wonderful person. And she had me on. She was doing a stream to raise money for trans folks, like doing direct mutual aid to trans folks, and also raising for a trans charity. And I got asked to be on that with a bunch of other trans creators. You know, just other content creators, and it was so wonderful. I needed that. It was a boon to my spirit. And I think they ended up raising, when I left, there was like $15,000, $16,000 raised for giving mutual aid to some trans folks, which was amazing. I think it even went up after that, after I had to go. But it was absolutely amazing. The people were amazing. It was so much energy and so kind. I needed it for my soul. To just be with other people and just experience doing something positive with other people. Because while I am working with Lucian now, I mean, he works remote from me. We don't see each other than like our regular meetings. And I work fairly isolated in my apartment by myself. So you don't often, as a YouTuber, get to work on make something with others directly. And that was just really wonderful. So overall, while there's been a bit of frustration just in my life, overall, I've been feeling very, very good. So yeah, I think that's that. Thank you, Knit and Crochet Tiger. Professor J Gender teaches gender understanding, equality, and acceptance 101. Yes, I am Professor J Gender, yeah? Yes, haha. I'm wearing my lesbian outfit and going to teach you kids. I don't know why I've suddenly become like a radio announcer from the 60s. Haha! I am a radio announcer. I'm going to be mildly sexist in a way that's culturally approved, but will be looked back on through the ages as very, very cringy. I don't even know what the word... I don't know what that was. I don't even know what the word cringy is, but there we go. Alright. Let's see what else is going on. Alex Miller, heart to you. Blue is your color. Have you ever considered... thank you for saying blue is definitely my color. Have you ever considered doing any videos for kids on trans or artistic topics? Just curious, feel like you'd be great at it. Oh, thank you very much. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I feel like some of my videos are very accessible to maybe not kids, but like middle and high schoolers. Some of them are not. But I feel like most of my videos are for middle and high schoolers. The unfortunate thing, and this gets into like the back end of YouTube stuff, if anyone doesn't remember, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, something like that, there was a big thing where like YouTube creators can't make content for kids because it gets censored and there's stuff like that. So the hard part is I wouldn't be against making content for kids, but YouTube very much because of like, I won't go into the whole nonsense of it because of some laws and legal mumbo jumbo. Content made for kids on YouTube is suppressed in the algorithm, And so it's kind of hard to make content that's expressly aimed at kids. I can make content that's like aimed at adults that kids can also enjoy, but I have to make sure I angle it very specifically that way. So it's hard to just make content just for kids. I wouldn't be against it. I would love to do it. I think it'd be a lot of fun, and I think there'd be awesome. I think there's cool and awesome ways to like teach kids about gender and gender topics. But unfortunately, on YouTube, that is a difficult prospect. Maybe elsewhere, if there's ever a chance to do it elsewhere, I would love to. But as a YouTuber, it's a little bit harder, unfortunately. All right, looking at the next thing. Ooh, Ash vs. Evil Dead is great, Louis Man Gaming. Great show. I love that. As Ken Helsing's Jessie, you are. Thank you, Donovan. I'll be the hot, sexy teacher. I'm here for that. I'm here to be the hot, sexy teacher. Aw, thank you, Molly, for saying you love the top. I love this top. I've had this top. This was one of the first tops that I bought when I came out as trans. And so I love it. Very much leaning into like the lesbian chic, I guess is what they would say. Let's see. I don't think anyone says that. No one says lesbian chic. I say lesbian chic. I'll make it a thing. It's fine. All right. Let's see. Super Femi, heart to you. Thank you so much. Let's see. You said, I got it bad, not for teacher. I got it bad, so bad. I'm sure you're singing a song. That's my throwback Van Helsing quote inspired by Professor Jessie. I don't know Van Halen, I should say, all that well. In fact, weirdly, my biggest touchstone Van Halen, you're gonna hate me for this, is like my family used to go to a church where there was like a kids church, and the kids church had their own like rock band. So I would like have a separate like middle schooler church that I had to go to. And they like took old rock songs, like Van Halen songs, and made them like uber Christian. And I don't remember the song, but there was like a Van Halen song that they made into like a praise God song. It was like very weird. And so that's like my biggest like life touchstone with Van Halen. It's very weird. To be fair, well, I'm by no means to insult people's religious beliefs, but for me, that church was, as someone who is agnostic now, it was a whole experience. It was that kids' church was an experience. Carla, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, any fun plans for Halloween, Jessie? Not right now, unfortunately. I have plans to go and hang out with a friend on Halloween. But I don't think I'm planning to do anything that night, unfortunately, because I got stuff to do the next day. So sadly, it sucks. I wish I was doing some party stuff, but unfortunately, pandemic stuff and things like that, I don't have a ton of plans for it. But I am hanging out with a friend that day. And maybe they'll have stuff to do that night. We'll see. I'm hanging out with a few other friends during that week, so maybe they'll have like some post-Halloween stuff. Sadly, I won't. You know what I should do? The drunk stream on Saturday, I should dress up as something. That'll be fun. Like do a little Halloween dress up. I think that'll be fun. I'll think about that. I think that'll be a good time. Let's see. Heart to you. Thank you so much, Geek Filter. Geek Filter coming in with the Star Trek the Animated Series knowledge. Uhura took command of the bridge twice in TAS, once in the Lorelei signal and in BEM. I didn't know that. I knew the Lorelei signal, but I actually forgot about BEM. So there you go. TAS is the wokest Trek. There you go. But of course, Geek Filter, my headphones are stuck on, it's up there, but I literally have Geek Filter, Aaron Harvey wrote the book, literal book on Star Trek the Animated Series. They have literally up there. You can kind of see it if I show it up in the corner. You can see that orange little, that little orange corner up there, that right there, that's the corner of the book hiding up there. So of course you would have a comment on that. You lovely, lovely nerd. All right. Thank you, Jedi and Josh, for sharing Lumiru's stream. I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that in the chat. Heart to you, you lovely, lovely human. John Vinnels, thank you so much for your super chat. Heart to you. You said, if you don't mind me asking, where can I find older live streamers? They vanish after a while and are hard to find. Yeah, no, totally good question. If you want to find my live streams, I do leave them up for people to find. I leave them up for about a few days after they go up, but I try to unlist them so that when like new folks find the channel, there's not like a bunch of different live streams that like clutter up the video thing. Because the way YouTuber stuff works, like when you find my channel, people tend to go like click on the videos like, oh, what type of videos does this person do? And that's when they decide whether they want to subscribe or not. And so I don't want it to be like a whole bunch of just live streams that are just like the same thing over and over again. That they see. I want them to see like the bigger content that I think people like will subscribe for. I mean, I love these live streams, but I don't think that they're the reason that people will subscribe. They're the reason that you stay, and we get to share love and we build community. Anyways, regardless. That's all that's said. That's why I unlist them, but they're still unlisted, and I have a playlist. If you go onto my main my channel page, if you go click like the channel link down below, underneath my boobs, apparently, you click there, and then if you scroll down a little bit, there'll be a playlist that says live streams. All my live streams are safe there, so go forth, watch them, find the cringe, make fun of me. I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff in those live streams that are like, oh god, they're there. So yeah, feel free to go and enjoy those if you wish. If I can say something. Let's see. Any more super chats? Just want to make sure. Nope. The next super chat is just from Chloe. Heart to you. Thank you so much, Chloe. Said, love the new glasses. Going to see Antlers in a little bit. Oh my gosh, yes. So many good movies coming out like recently that I want to see. Antlers I want to see. Last Night in Soho I want to see. The Last Duel I want to see. I really want to see Last Night in Soho, like really badly. The French Dispatch is coming out soon that I want to see. Man, I wish they were on streaming. Like, it's frustrating because I do like going to the theater. I am a theater gal. I very much like love the theater, but I've been kind of spoiled the past like year because we've been getting so many movies on streaming. But all the movies now are not coming to streaming. Like Dune was the last one, and that was one that I wanted to see in a theater. And so it's just frustrating because, like, I don't have the time to go to the theater all the time. Plus, it's slightly dangerous. So, like, I will do it for specific movies, but only so many times. And so, yeah, so I'm very excited to go see this. I hope you'll have to tell me, Chloe, how Antlers is. Tell me on Saturday how Antlers is. I would very much appreciate it. All right, Kitten Crochet Tiger, Geek Filter scares me about how much geeky info he knows. So I'm all now caught up on all the super chats, so I'm just catching up on the stream. Unless if I missed a super chat, let me know. And I'll make sure to call it out. But I'm just trying to catch up and make sure I didn't miss anything. So, yeah, they basically Weird Al songs in my old church. They definitely did. Ooh, Lamb. Yeah, Lamb Ren looks really, really good. I've heard really like, just the trailer alone for Lamb, I'm like, I have no idea what this is. I'm not even sure I'll end up liking it. But heavens if I'm not very intrigued by it. I am so intrigued by Lamb. Like, incredible. Like, I am very intrigued by Lamb. Also, what was that? What was that? I didn't even know I could do that with my eyebrows. How did I do that? Wait, did anyone see that? It was like very I don't even know how I did that. Wait, I'm trying to do it again. Now I just look scared. How the hell did I do that? Now I just look... What? Oh, wait. There we go. What is... This is like very... Like, I have to hold my face like really weird to do this. Oh my gosh. That was weird. That was weird. I didn't even know I could do that. Okay. Let's see. Oh, thank you very much for saying you like the glasses. I appreciate that. Jordan Joan, I don't really care for the movie theaters. People in my life also have to drive me to them. I love movie theaters. The thing that gets me about, like, I like going to an IMAX theater. The thing that I love going to theaters most for, and it kind of disappoints because the theater near where I live actually kind of has a crappy one, is the sound. What I love, like seeing a big screen is great, but it is the sound that sells it. No one really thinks about it, but like I would rather have a screen that is kind of meh and like perfect sound, because that really sells the theater experience. And so it's honestly kind of why, like, there's the theater that I go to near me, which is just like a standard AMC theater. Their sound is kind of meh, and it kind of is disappointing. And I'm like, I wish that the nearest theater was better, like better sound done. You know what I'm trying to say. So there you go. Jessie doing eyebrow exercises like there aren't 100 people watching. Yeah, like, let me just do like... What is that? I also love how, like, my mouth... Like, I'm just doing this. Like, I love how my mouth moves when I do these. Like... Oh, I'm very scared now. Oh, gasp. I'm so scared. Oh, my. Let's see. A surprising lot of, Owen says, a surprising lot of the metal that Christians blamed us pagans for back in the day actually is probably espoused better morals than the Christians do now. Yeah, that's probably very true. It's like the whole thing with like the one of these satanic churches. Like this one of the satanic churches is all about like being inclusive, caring for people, and like all that sort of stuff. Like, what was the one thing that there was like some Christian church put on their board? Like Satan was one of the first people to call for equal rights, and I'm like, you're not wrong. I mean, Satan was one of the first people to call God out for like, exploiting the working class of the angels. Like the Satan is literally Satan's a communist. Let's just be honest. There we go. Satan had a workers' revolution in heaven. So, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And I should say paganism and satanism are obviously different, are obviously very different. But I just think that's funny. Let's see. Oh, heart to you, Monster Balls. Thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate that. And I am a goof, Jedi Indiana Jones. You said, growing up with Star Trek, it helped me realize my love for astronomy and string theory. I hope Star Trek Project does the same to spark the young minds of the youth today. Yeah, I agree. And one thing I was kind of surprised by, but I should have realized in my review. By the way, if you haven't seen my review, I watched Star Trek Prodigy, and over on my secondary channel, I reviewed my Star Trek Prodigy. So if you type in Jessie Gender After Dark, and you can find my review of the first episode of Star Trek Prodigy, which I loved. I really liked it. It was very cool. I'm very excited for more Star Trek Prodigy. But one thing that people were saying about that show was that it felt very Star Warsian. Star Wars The Clone Wars to them, which I feel is a misconception of it, because I feel like it's not Star Wars The Clone Wars-esque or Star Wars Rebels-esque. What I feel like is it's more kids show-esque, because the setup of like there's an evil big bad guy and there's a bunch of eclectic kids like going down to stop him and forming a group, and they eventually learn to be more competent over time. That setup is like every kid show today. Like She-Ra and the Princess of Power, the Owl House has that. Troll Hunters have that. Keep on the Age of the Wonder Beast has that. The difference, and even the Star Wars Rebels has that. So I don't think it's Star Warsian, though I think it is similar to the Star Wars animated shows, because that's just the style of a lot of like kids-aimed media, but kids-aimed media that adults can also watch. Visually, yes, it is very similar. Very similar. But I feel like in terms of style and tone, I feel like it's just similar to all kids stuff. And I think like the difference is in the shading and the world building. And I do think Star Trek Prodigy's world building is actually very Star Trekian. Because you see like in the moments where they go into the ship, they're like talking about like how the engines work, looking at the panels, like wondering all the sciencey stuff. Whereas in Star Wars, it's just sort of like they wouldn't talk about stuff in that way. They would be like, it's more like, yeah, it's a ship that works, So I feel like there is going to be very much a science focus, especially now that Janeway's in the show. So I feel like Prodigy will inspire kids to get interested in science and all that stuff, especially with Janeway. Like Janeway, I think is like because Janeway herself was a scientist. I think she's the only. Kirk was always command. Picard was always command. Sisko, I think, was also always command on the command track. I think Janeway is the only captain. Burnham is too. So the women, that's cool actually, now that I think about that. But Janeway is one of the few captains who started off as a scientist and then went over to command. And so I feel like that's actually a really distinct viewpoint that they leaned into a little bit in Star Trek Voyager, but not as much as I wish they had, that Janeway is a scientist first. It's a cool differentiation point from her from all the other captains, and I think that'll be a cool thing if they lean into that for Prodigy, especially for kids. There's so many women that were inspired to go into STEM because of Janeway and Star Trek Voyager. So, Carla, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, would you consider a horror game for the next stream for the spooky seasons? And ideas what you might dress up for, or is it a surprise? I might do a horror game. So here's the thing. I'm thinking of for Saturday. What I've been thinking of is I want to play the new Guardians of the Galaxy game, because I just want to play that game really badly, and I know it's going to be popular because it just came out. And so I kind of really want to play it. And so I feel like I might do that on stream, but I don't know. But maybe I should do like something like Resident Evil 4, but I can always do Resident Evil 4 too. I mean, November is also spooky time. It's still spooky season. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll change my mind, but I'm feeling I'm going to play Guardians of the Galaxy on Saturday and then maybe Resident Evil 4 next week. But we'll see. We'll see. Any ideas what you might dress up for? I don't know. I have a few costumes. I'll make it a surprise. I don't even know what I'm gonna dress up as, so we'll see if I'll do. I might be lazy and not do anything. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But if you want to see, come on Saturday to the drunk stream and find out what I might dress up as. So. Molly J, heart to you. Thank you so much. You said, have you ever considered doing a video about the gender essentialism baked into the central plot of Dune? Like Kwiatk's Haderach having to be male. Yeah, I mean, there is stuff there that is interesting. I mean, that's actually interesting. I don't know what I would necessarily say about it specifically other than, like, a lot of, like, things do that. Because there's a lot of, like, and the prophesized one shall be male, and he shall be the one to inherit the earth, or whatever. In, like, so many science fiction, like, the chosen ones are always dudes, whatever. And the witches are always, like, the Kwiatk's Haderach, not the Kwiatk's, I forget the name of the witches in the sisterhood in the Dune verse. Off the top of my head. Bene Gesserit, that's it. So, I mean, I don't necessarily... I mean, there's probably more to say about it in Dune a little bit, but I don't know if there's anything specifically that's super special about Dune. What I will say is I actually found that, like, things that break that up a little bit are some of the most interesting, because I've seen, I think, actually, Supergirl, of all shows, was one of the shows that did that best, where they broke that down, because in Supergirl, there is the trans superhero character, Dreamer. And I've talked about this before. The trans superhero character of Dreamer, she has the power to, like, go into dreams and other superpowers stuff. But there was one episode of the series where she goes back home and sorry, one sec. This computer's freaking out. I have a computer screen over here, and this computer screen's freaking out a little bit, so I'm just, like, distracted a little bit. But anyways, I'll have to figure out what's going on there. Maybe it was just the candle screwing with it. But anywho, sorry, Supergirl. There was an episode where she went back home, and she found, basically she learned that only girls in her family could inherit the Dreamer ability. And she has a sister. Now, because she's trans, her sister was older. Her sister always assumed that she was going to be the one to inherit the powers. That only one girl can inherit in a family, and it's always a girl that's going to inherit. So she always assumed that Dreamer was not going to inherit the powers because she wasn't a real girl, quote unquote, because she's trans. And I love that the show actually showed that no, she was really a girl, and because even though she was born seen as a boy, she was still just as much a girl in as any other girl. And so I loved that sort of breaking up of, like, only girls can inherit this thing, but girlhood is not, like, biologically entailed. It's towards someone's spirit. And so I loved that sort of subversion of the trope in Supergirl. Supergirl's far from a perfect show, but that specifically I thought they nailed. I thought they nailed that. I thought they absolutely nailed that in that show. And it even led to, like, talking about real transphobia, because her sister was always supportive of her being trans. And in that episode, when she learned that her sister was the one that inherited the powers, and she thought that she was the one that was going to always inherit the powers, she literally said, well, you're not a real girl! And, like, got angry at her and sort of, like, wouldn't talk to her for a few episodes after that. In fact, I think, like, a season or two after that. So it actually, like, married that, like, it was affirming to trans people, but used it in a way to discuss how trans people are denied womanhood in many ways. It was such a good storyline. I really love that. Again, Supergirl is far from a perfect show. I think they've nailed their handling of Dreamer. I think Dreamer is one of the best trans representations I've seen, ever. Period. In sci-fi-dom, I should say. I think it's really cool. Let's see. Make sure I missed a few super chats here. So, heart to you, Jay Devon. You said there was some reason I was going to recommend Octavia Butler to you. IDK, I'm very tired. LOL. Well, I love Octavia Butler. I've read A Kindred, and I started reading. What was it? I haven't finished it, but her, like, famous trilogy, like Sci-Fi Invasion. But Kindred is great. I would if any of you haven't read Kindred, it's a time travel story about like slavery and how the intertwined nature of like racism in America and how we like think about the intertwined nature of slave owner and slave. It was such a really nuanced book and so thoughtful, and it's fantastic. And I'm trying to remember the name of the series. It's the Dawn series. The first book in the series is Dawn. Exogenesis. That's it. I started reading the Exogenesis books, but I have not finished them. So I don't want to talk about them too much, but the Exogenesis books are good. I kind of started them and then I got busy with other stuff, so I'm going to come back to them. Let's see. Jack the Gun, heart to you. Thank you so much. Cisco was an engineer, and I think Archer as well. Was Cisco an engineer? I don't remember, honestly. Like, I remember Cisco's backstory where he was like, his wife dies. But actually, and obviously he has Jake, but I actually don't remember much about Cisco's backstory before he got to Deep Space Nine, now that I think of it. Like, I know his childhood. Like, raised on Earth, doing the whole cooking thing with his dad. I actually don't know if he was an engineer or not. That's interesting. Archer, I think was always in command too, but his dad was an engineer. His dad helped build the Warp 5 engine, so I think he knows a lot about engineering. But I don't think Archer was an engineer himself. Again, I might be wrong on that, but I don't think I think Archer was always a command track as well. But I don't think he was an engineer. He just knew a decent amount about engineering because his dad was an engineer. He worked on... Oh, you're right, Jack the Gun. That is true. He did work on the Defiant design. Cisco did. That makes sense. That makes sense. I do remember him saying that in one episode. Sorry, I'm making sure to pull up the... There we go. All right. Sean Piper, heart to you. I know you have the J now. Are there any Enterprise models you don't have still? I recently got a kit that has the NXI-1, though, through E, no J, though. I have... I think the only Enterprise I don't have, like, a little statue of would be the F from Star Trek Online. Right? Unless you count, like, Mirror Universe ones, which I don't really... I have the NXO-1. I have... Oh! You know which one I don't have? The A. I don't have the A, actually, now that I think about it. Because I have the original... I have the original Enterprise, but I don't have the A. Like, not the refit, the actual one, the A that was seen in Star Trek 5 and 6. Star Trek 5 and 6. So I don't have that one. Now that I think about it. I think that's the one I'm missing. But I have the original Enterprise, which is very similar, so... It's basically the same thing, right? It's not going to make any trick. Someone's screaming at me for saying that. All right. Let's see. Heart to you, John Vinnels. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, can we talk about how Kindred is basically Back to the Future, only the main character isn't protected cis white male privilege? Yes! I mean, I wouldn't say it's exactly Back to the Future. There's a lot of different shades in how the time travel work and what the stories are about. I mean, Back to the Future is just a fun, like, romp. Whereas Kindred, for those of you who don't know, the whole concept of Kindred, which, by the way, it's a fantastic freaking book. I'm gonna do my best to try. I read it a few years ago, so apologies if I missed some shading in it in terms of how the book is written. But the basic concept of the book is this woman, a black woman, living in, at the time the book was written, modern day America, which I think was like the 80s. I might be misremembering exactly when it's set. But modern day America at the time, contemporary to when the book was written, modern day America, and she is moving into an apartment with her new boyfriend. Or with her boyfriend, and suddenly she starts getting sent back in time to slavery South. Blanking on the words, but to the South during slavery. And what she starts to realize is that she's being sent back in time whenever one of her ancestors, the specific ancestor, is in danger of dying. And so she is brought back in time in order to save his life every time he's in danger of dying. However, the complication becomes that ancestor is a slave owner. Yeah, her ancestor is the head of the plantation. And it is very much talked about that he, trigger warning here, he assaults one of his slaves, one of her ancestors, and that's what leads to, her family being descended from him. And so it's this interesting discussion, and a very nuanced discussion about the complicated feelings there, where she is being forced back in time as a black woman to come back and save a slave owner, but she has to save him because if she doesn't save him, she won't be born. And also because she sees him being raised as from a child, Antebellum, thank you, that was the word I was looking for. Antebellum South. Because she's known him since he was a child, because she keeps jumping back like through his lifetime. She cares about him too, even though she's calls him out on his crap. And also she has to try and protect herself as a black woman in the South because she doesn't get back to the future very easily. Like, she sometimes has to stay there for months at a time. And so it's a really interesting discussion about the intrinsic like relationship there. It's a really thoughtful book, and I'd highly recommend it. So yeah, I would very much recommend that book. If you have not read Kindred, go check it out. It's a really fascinating sci-fi story that has a lot to say. So, like, read it. Like seriously, legitimately go read Kindred. It is fantastic. Ash the introvert, thank you so much. Sending you love. Take your dramatic exit. Sending you love. John Vinnels, heart to you. Have you read any NK? Oh, wait, sorry, I actually want to read this. NK Jemisin. I have read so much. Not so much NK Jemisin. I've read a significant chunk of NK Jemisin. Her Broken Earth books are amazing. If any of you have not read another fast. Okay, I'm gonna rant about books by fantastic people. NK Jemisin, if you're looking for a very good 3-book trilogy sci-fi series that includes trans people, but is also focused on like how marginalization works and is written by a black woman, NK Jemisin's Broken Earth trilogy. Each book in the series won the Hugo Award each year in a row, and it's fantastic. And how best to describe this series? It's a little bit hard to get into because the way the first book is written is it's told in three different ways. I don't want to spoil too much. It's gonna be. I'm gonna make sure I say this specifically so I don't spoil too much. It's told in 3 different segments, 3 different storylines. There's one storyline told in the first person. There's one storyline told in the second person, and there's one storyline told in the third person. So, like, the second person one is like you are going out, you are doing this, as you are, as if you are the main character, as if someone's speaking to the main character. So that the second person sometimes takes people some getting used to, but it's used to sort of differentiate these 3 different segments of the story. Again, I don't want to spoil because all those different stories come together in a really fascinating way. In that first book, you're like, your mind gets blown. Like, when you get to the end of the first book and you realize how that all comes together, you're like, oh, that's so cool. That's so insanely cool. And then as it goes, like, once you learn who's telling the story in the second person is also cool, and that doesn't get revealed until the third book. It's just fantastic. And the way what the world is it's a fantasy world in which there are people who have basically kind of earthbenders, but it's a little bit more scientific. Like, there's a bit more science to it than just like magic earth powers. Like, the magic system is very, very explicit and specific. It's a very hard magic system overall. And so they have earth powers, and the people who have earth powers are basically taken from their homes and forced to be workers for the government, essentially, and are marginalized. And so it's just a fantastic discussion of that. But like, read the Broken Earth books. I second everything that Punk Rock Zoologist is saying. Like Punk Rock Zoologist said it all. Read the Broken Earth trilogy. They are fantastic books. If you're looking for a great fantasy series to read Broken Earth. I cannot recommend it enough. Kindred is one of the best science fiction books you will ever read. Broken Earth is one of the best fantasy trilogies you will ever read, and they're fairly quick reads too. Like, the Broken Earth trilogy is not like, it's not like you're getting into the Wheel of Time or anything. They're like 3 books. All relatively, like, manageably digestible within, like, a short amount of time. It's not like you're going to dive into, like, these giant tomes. So I'd recommend them. I'd highly recommend them. I do know I missed a super chat here from John. Thank you so much, John, for your super chat. You said, also, imagine if this new Dune movie had cast a trans male or trans masculine actor as Paul. That would have been interesting, too. I actually would have loved that. Oh. I mean, there's so many movies I could say that with, though, right? Like, how it, like, would be interesting if they had cast, like, a trans actor, because it would complicate it would complicate the narrative of gender within a work. There's so many things I could say that with, you know? Like, trying to think of, like, some off the top of the head that, like, I mean, like, Superman, you know, trans man Superman, would be cool, to be provocative in that sense. So, I mean, there's, like, I think there's just so many cool things in that front. Oh, night, Neelis the Pagan, it's good to see you. It was good to see you. Have a wonderful night. So yeah, I think that that's a really cool idea, but I think that you could do that with a lot of different things. Like, put a trans person in there. I think that the narrative, like, completely changes in interesting ways. So Jesse, I already have too many books. Don't we all? Don't we all, Miss Beckett, L.A.? We all have the pile. We all know it. Every reader, every single reader, all has the pile of books. You want to go into my? I wish I could take this camera. I'd take you into my living room, and I'd show you that I have a pile. There's literally a pile of books in my living room on the bookshelf that I'm like, all right, I'm gonna read these eventually. We all have the pile. We all know the pile. All of us have the pile. Every reader, if you are a reader, you have the pile of books. You're like, this is the pile of books I'm going to read, and I will get to eventually. And you know you're never going to get to half to them because you're going to buy more books that go on the pile, and you'll be like, I don't need to read this book. And you put more books back on the shelf that you're never going to get to, but then you still have the pile, and the pile keeps growing, and then you keep taking books out. So yeah, no, I'm not saying you do read the pile. We do read the pile. But we also know we never finish the pile, do we? The pile never ends. The pile only grows. It's true. It's true. We all know it. It's true. Like that we all have that. Every single one of us has that. Kaney, I'm trying to read Discworld. I am too. I'm reading Discworld. In fact, if you want to nerd out with me, I actually over on my secondary channel, I've been reading the Discworld novels for the first time ever in publication order over on my secondary channel. So I've read so far The Color of Magic and The Light Fantastic, which are the first 2 books in the Discworld series. I'm currently on Equal Rights. I started Equal Rights. I had to put it on the back burner a little bit because I'm not reading Star Trek Coda, the new Star Trek book that I want to review for my other channel as well. So I will have more. I will be reading more of the Discworld novels, but right now I'm reading Star Trek Coda. So I'm going to finish that off, and I'm going to keep going on Star Trek Discworld books. But having read the first 2 Discworld books and briefly started Equal Rights, I am loving it so far, and I'm excited to see it. Also, Terry Pratchett is amazing, and by far not a perfect writer, but he was one of the most progressive and understanding writers, especially for his time. He's right there with Neil Gaiman at like being ahead of the curve about talking about gender issues and you know, all sorts of issues, religious issues. Like when I look at people like Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman, while they were not perfect, like Neil Gaiman has his faults too as a writer in terms of how he represents things. Terry Pratchett obviously has some like fat phobia stuff in there as well. Though I don't think his fat phobia was like as actively hateful as something like J.K. Rowling's fat phobia in her books. But they are like a lot of fat phobic jokes within his work. That being said, when I look at people like Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman, they prove to me that the excuse that it was of the time doesn't really work for me a lot of the time. Because, yeah, we can talk about how certain attitudes were prevailing at certain times, but also authors had access to know how to write better, and people like Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman prove that. Like, Neil Gaiman was writing about TERFs back in the freaking 80s. Like, there's literally a whole freaking, like, several issue part of The Sandman. I think it's like Tales of You or something like that. I forget the exact name of it. It's one of my favorite ones, but I'm forgetting what it's called. A Story of You. A Story of You is what it's called. There's a whole part of The Sandman where there is a trans character, and there is a witch in that series who is a woman who does not allow the trans woman to take part in this one ceremony because she doesn't have menstrual blood. And it's very clearly evoking TERFs excluding women. Like, at the time, they weren't called TERFs, but they were, you know, a sect of feminism that was excluding trans people from, you know, being able to have access to certain feminine spaces because we're trans. And so, like that was, Neil Gaiman was writing about that in the, I believe, the 80s, 90s. Like, the man, like, he didn't write it perfectly. He does do a bury your trans in that story. Like, the trans woman does die at the end, which is unfortunate. So he's, again, not perfect, but he does get that stuff right. And he has always been leaning towards doing it right and always being empathetic. And it's just so good. And same thing with Terry Pratchett. I mean, I just started Equal Rights. Spoilers for that book. It's in the first chapter of the book, but I've just started Equal Rights, and I'm loving it because the whole basis for that book is only wizards get to use magic. There are witches and there's wizards magic and witches. There's witches magic and wizards magic in that book. And one wizard, whenever a wizard dies, they pass on their magic to someone else. And at the beginning of the book, a wizard dies and accidentally gives his wizard magic to a girl. And how complicated that is. So it's all about gender issues and how, like, women aren't allowed access to the strong male masculine wizard magic, and how that's all just a nonsense social construct that, like, wizards say, like, oh, we can't give it to women, but they clearly can. And that's literally what the whole book is about, at least as far as I've read so far. I mean, that's how it starts off, so I'm assuming, and it's following that character. I'm assuming that's like a decent chunk of what the book is about. And so, like, Terry Pratchett was talking about that in the 80s and 90s. Like, come on. Like, the fact that, like, people are having these conversations then shows me that like people who don't get it now are behind the curve and have always been behind the curve. And thank you, Bunkerexologist. I do want to see that. You said, heart to you, just doing this to boost at Molly Manning. Good news, good for you, friend. Well, what happened, Molly? What did I miss? What did I miss? Molly, what did I miss? Can't wait for you to get to Mort. Molly, what did I miss? I knew you were getting the, had the job interview. Oh no, Molly, I'm sorry if I missed something. Well, apologies, Molly. I don't know what I missed other than I know that you have a job interview, which is awesome. Oh, you came out to your sister, Molly. Oh, I missed that. Oh, that's awesome. Molly, that's awesome. I hope your sister was awesome and wonderful, but because you deserve it. You are absolutely lovely, Molly. Sending you love. That's awesome. That's really cool. I missed that. I'm sorry I missed that, Molly. Thank you for putting that up, Punk Rock Zoologist. Thank you so much. Oh, that's really, really cool. Oh, I'm really happy. I'm really happy, Molly. Sending you love. I just see some more super chats coming in. Carla, heart to you. Thank you so much. You said, are you looking forward to anything at the moment? I mean, the movies that I was talking about, I'm looking forward to, how did I put this? There's a few videos I have coming up that this month has been a little bit like, the videos that I put out this month, other than the one that I did about the Star Trek episode, The Thaw. There was the one video I did on Star Trek episode, The Thaw, that was a bit more creative. A lot of the videos this month have been a bit more like reactionary, talking about like certain nuanced issues, like the Dave Chappelle special, the Bisexual Superman video. That being said, I have a few videos that I've filmed and have yet to film that I am really excited to share with all of you, because I think they're a little bit more ambitious, and I'm planning on getting a little bit more ambitious as I go. Because I have a few more ambitious videos coming up. So that's something I'm very excited about. I'll be honest, I'm excited for Christmas. I'm planning on going to see some family for Christmas. And Halloween is my favorite time of year. Christmas is my second favorite time of year. I love putting on sweaters. I love putting on cozy sweaters and getting like a mug of hot chocolate, curling up by the fire with family and being like a little dork and watching terrible Christmas movies, or good Christmas movies, I should say. So I'm looking forward to that. Christmas is very soon. And I'm very excited about that. I freaking love Christmas with all my heart. Not that I'm like a super religious person. I just like the aesthetic of Christmas. So I'm very pumped for that. And I'm excited to see family there. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm like super, super excited for at the moment. I mean, there's stuff on the horizon. I could talk about nerdy stuff. Like, I'm excited for Star Trek Discovery to come back. Sandman show to start, which I'm very pumped for. Speaking of, we were talking about Sandman earlier. Halo Infinite, which I'm pumped for. I love the Halo game, so I'm excited for that. They just showed off a campaign for Halo Infinite a few days ago, and I'm like, oh my god, it looks so cool. What else? There's a few other things. Star Trek Prodigy, I'm excited to keep watching. So yeah, there's some of the fun stuff that I'm really pumped for. And I just want to ask, heart to you, Stephen Fenn. You said, hey, Jessie, I just got in. I don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to say I finished all the Drawn to Trek episodes. How come there's no episode reviewing First Contact? Otherwise, awesome show. The reason there's no review of First Contact is we did one, and my co-host Geek Filter is still editing it. So there will be one, Stephen Fenn. If you're looking for those of you who don't know, Drawn to Trek is the podcast that I did with Geek Filter, who's in the chat, where we discussed every episode of Star Trek Lower Decks, and now the podcast is going on to talk about Star Trek Prodigy. So there will be one. There will be one up talking about First Contact. Will be coming in the next few days. And also, I should say, I will also be on the first episode review of Star Trek Prodigy that they do. So we just filmed that last night. And also, there's going to be a very special episode that I can't spoil just yet. But there is one more episode I'll be on in Drawn to Trek this year. And then I'll be on more episodes down the line. But there's a very special episode where it's going to be something very, very cool. And I cannot tell you how excited I am about it. But I can't say what it is just yet. So I will leave that there. Hopefully I should be able to talk about it next week, possibly. I'll have to check in with Geek Filter, but should be able to talk about it next week. I'm very pumped for it, so keep an eye out for that. It's a very cool thing. I'll be honest. I'm actually kind of very pumped about it. All right. Heart to you, John Fiddles. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, sadly, Neil Gaiman's wife, Amanda Palmer, may or may not be a TERF herself. Also, ever read A Distant Mirror? I did read, wait, is A Distant Mirror is the one of that one of the Sandman books? And that sucks. I didn't know if Amanda Palmer might be a TERF. I'm surprised by that. considering that Neil Gaiman has been very outspoken about transgender people. But again, husband and wives don't always need to agree. I mean, on that issue, they should agree, but you know, they don't always agree on stuff, and that happens. But I'm surprised by that, which sucks. But I know Neil Gaiman is wonderful. Let's see. A Distant Mirror. I believe that's a Sandman story. It's been a while since I've read Sandman, so I might be misremembering. A Distant Mirror. I don't think I've read that book, unless it's the Sandman book. I don't. Oh, there's Distant Mirrors, but I never read A Distant Mirror. And Distant Mirrors was an interesting one where it's like talking about dreams and stuff. I liked that one, but I don't remember it too well specifically. So, let's see. Josh Letton, thank you so much for your super chat. Heart to you. You said, "Hey Jessie, hope you're doing well. Been ages since I dropped by. I've been listening to Louis Theroux's audiobooks. Got to get through this. His narration is super charming. If you want to laugh and insight into his life, oh, I'll check that out. Where's my pen? I don't have my pen around, so I'll just write it here. Let's see. I'll add that to my list of suggestions because I like adding that Louis Theroux. I'm gonna save that. Thank you so much for telling me. I actually don't know much about Louis Theroux, to be honest. I'm looking him up. Books. Gotta get through this. That's a great title. That's a great title for an autobiography. I'll check it out. Thank you so much, Josh. I appreciate it. I'll put it on my list. Thank you so much. Stephen Fenn, heart to you, said, "Thanks. Can't wait to hear the first word contact reviews and the special episode." Yay! Thank you so much, Stephen. I appreciate that. It should be fun. Hi, Jessie. I just watched you and other streamers discussing the Netflix and Dave Chappelle special controversy on Cars channel. Oh, thank you, Grim Like Casket. Yeah, for those of you, like I said, I'm going to be doing a video tomorrow on Chappelle's special, or either tomorrow or Saturday, depending on how long it takes me to edit. But I'm going to be doing a video on that, but I did two panels. One on Lumi Rue's channel, where Lumi had a bunch of people, and we were mainly talking about it from that panel. Lumi Rue's panel was more discussing the Chappelle special from a side of like trans people, a perspective of people of color, the black community, because there was a lot of black people on that panel. I'm obviously not black, so I added where I could to that perspective, or to that conversation, I should say. But it was like that, and also a trans perspective, which I added to, and things like that. So there was that panel, which I think was a great panel. I really loved that one. And I also did one over on the Surfs channel, which was also really good. But that one, the Surfs channel's discussion, was more for analyzing the special from a lens of comedy and like how Chappelle was using comedy in his special, both to good effect and to bad effect. So there's kind of both panels kind of did two sides of two different things. There was the side of it where it's talking about Chappelle's special from a comedy side, and there was more talking about it from a social justice, feels like the wrong way to put it, but from more like a social issues, trans issues, like black community kind of way. So I feel like those two specials kind of have two different points, and I was honored to be on both of them. And also, I mean, both Lumi Rue and the Surfs are great channels, and I'm honored to have been asked to be on both of those channels. I love both of them, so I think they both do very, very, very good work. Oh, it's just Abigail. Sending you hearts. It's just Abigail. I'm sorry. Thank you for letting me know. I didn't see that. Everyone send some love to It's Just Abigail. I'm so sorry. I missed exactly what happened. I'm looking through it, but It's Just Abigail. I know feeling. I just saw what you said. You said I'm feeling lonely. Like, I get that. I feel lonely a lot of the time too. I live by myself. I get it. So I'm sending you love, but you're not alone. I know it feels like you're alone, but people send you love. I'm going to be ending this stream soon, which sucks. But I want to make sure you send that you are known, that you are loved, that you are amazing, that you are absolutely awesome, that you are always welcome here on this channel. I'm going to be streaming on Saturday, and I hope that you're there. I want to see you there. If you're able to, if you have time to. But if you have time to, I would love to see you here on Saturday, because I would love to let you know that you're wonderful and amazing, and that you are part of this community, and that people care about you. So yeah, join us Saturday, and sending you all the love, okay? Sending you love. It's just Abigail. And I'm just gonna quick. I'm Oh, hey, Nader Tot. It's good to see you. It's good to see you, friend. I'm gonna end I'm gonna end this. So just see two quick super chats that I want to just quick address, and then I'm gonna wrap out the stream in just a minute. Let me also pull something up real quick. Okay, so just to wrap out the chat, just John Vinnels, thank you so much for your super chat. You said the full title of the book is A Distant Mirror, the Calamitous 14th Century. I think I saw that when I quickly looked up. I'll add it to my list, but I did not actually. Just save that over there. But yeah, I have not read that book. But thank you for letting me know. I'll add it to the pile. We'll see if it gets read, but I will add it to the pile. Let's see. And then, Abracadaverous. I just like saying your name. Hi, Abracadaverous. I like every time you pop up in chat. Your username is wonderful. Let's see. Carla, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. She said, might be a strange question, but how do you stay so empathetic and objective with the bad things that happen and you personally have experienced? Oh, long question to ask at the end of the stream, so I'll answer it kind of quickly. Oh, how do I answer that question? Oh, boy. It's hard sometimes. I mean, I don't want to aggrandize myself, but doing a little bit of psychoanalysis very quickly. Again, I'm gonna oversimplify this question. I wish you'd asked it earlier because I would give you a bit longer answer. But to quick psychoanalyze myself, because I was someone who grew up trans, and this is not the case for every trans person, but for me personally, I kind of really hated myself because I didn't really feel like I was someone that I cared about because I wasn't out. I was like, the life that I'm living isn't mine. And as a result of me feeling that this life wasn't mine, that I was play acting something, I decided to live my life for others. I decided to live for other people. And as a result of that, I became very empathetic towards others because I constantly was always thinking of others because I wanted to just live life for them. Which led to a lot of problems in terms of not being self-caring enough. But what it's led to me today is I feel like I'm a very empathetic person, for good or for bad. And that's what I channel in the videos and the content I make. In terms of how do I stay empathetic in terms of the stuff that I face, it is hard to some degree, and I feel it sometimes. You know, I get it when people are hurt, why it's hard to be empathetic, and I understand completely because like even like getting backlash and harassment, you feel this like I want to screw you guys. You feel this like anger, right? And you want to like push back against that, and I feel that, but I also am not someone who holds that very easily. I don't hold anger very easily. And anger, I feel like, is just not a thing that motivates me to make stuff. Right? It's hard. I wish I could do a whole discussion on this topic, so I apologize that I'm not explaining this well, but like, anger doesn't motivate me to make things. And I'm not saying that anger is not a bad motivator in some cases. Like, sometimes there is righteous anger that can motivate you to create things, make things, do things, fight for things. But for me, where I feel most creative and where my creativity mostly springs forth is from trying to be empathetic, to think about others, to try and put myself in other people's shoes, to try to discuss things from a way that brings people in and tries to get people who may not have come to the discussion initially because they're like have a reaction of like, oh, I don't want to discuss trans issues, that sort of thing. I don't know. It's a longer conversation, and I wish you had asked earlier because I probably could have gotten a more thoughtful answer. And it's hard not to sound like I'm aggrandizing myself because I don't want to aggrandize myself with this answer. I try my best to try and think of others, and I try my best to focus on that, and it's sometimes very difficult based on like the stuff that harassment I've gotten and things like that. But I also know that what I want to put out in the world and the stuff I can put out in the world is the empathetic stuff. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. I understand some criticism that people said that I was too kind to Chappelle in my video, which I totally get. That's a fair criticism. People think it's sometimes me being sometimes I'm too empathetic and should push back harder on things. So there are ways that I could be better on that, but it's just who I am. It's just how I make stuff. It's just what I need. It's just the content that I want to make, for better or for worse. I mean, I can't be everything, and the person I am is that. It's hard. It's tiring sometimes, but I do my best. So, anyways, thank you for that really difficult question right at the end there. Ask it again, Carla, maybe next stream, because I would love to give a more thorough answer if you can. You don't have to do a super chat on, just remind me of it. But at the end of the day, just to wrap out the stream, a couple quick announcements. Just going to do the quick running announcement. Like I said, depending on how I feel, either tomorrow or Saturday, there's going to be a new Dave Chappelle video on Chappelle. I just filmed it. I'm going to go have dinner, and then we'll see if I feel up to editing it or not for the rest of the night. So it'll either come out tomorrow or Saturday. Probably, I'm leaning towards Saturday morning at this point. So look for Saturday morning, probably the video on Dave Chappelle. Also, Saturday night, I'm going to be doing another stream of a video game, probably Guardians of the Galaxy, the new Guardians of the Galaxy game. I'm going to do dress up. We'll play Guardians of the Galaxy. I'll get drunk. It'll be a lot of fun. So come join me on Saturday. And then there's going to be another video on next Friday. So video this probably Saturday, video streaming Saturday night, getting drunk and having our usual fun. And then a video next Friday, which should be also fun. So look for all of those. Until then, everybody, I love you all. I send you all my love. Thank you for telling me my new glasses are wonderful, because I'm very proud of them. I'm proud of them as if, like, I made them or something. But I think they look cool. I love you all. Mwah. I will see you all Saturday. So, mwah, mwah, mwah. Lovely, lovely people. And now I gotta find the button. There's the unstream button. Okay.